About how there have been all of these different primate models on this planet, and how rather than it being just harsh androids being made to do gold, digging down in gold mines and slave labor for something else, that maybe there is a very real evolution that is interacting because there is a soul and there is a spirit in these standing up primates. And that in the interview with him, it occurred to me that Neanderthal never knew it was going to be replaced 35,000 years ago by Cro-Magnon Homo sapien sapien. And neither did the standing up primate before that one. And that in the last 2 years, one of the subjects that is emerging more and more with more details from whistleblowers is that there are ET human hybrids on this planet and the governments are aware. And suddenly you start to think about this, that if it is a smooth evolutionary, revolutionary process, that what Daniel has just described could actually be parallel with or coming up to a cross-section where Cro-Magnon Homo sapien sapien is an incredibly creative species, but too violent, and has a soul spirit that maybe is unique in the cosmos. And that we're in a process where this will be replaced completely by a hybrid without us ever knowing. But that hybrid would carry all of the best of the genes in the next evolutionary step. That's come through some of the abduction cases.
Wow. Yeah, thank you. Dr. Dream, what's the new human look like?
I'm really excited about the new human. And what excites me about it, and this is really what my focus is, my presentation tomorrow is energy dynamics, pushing the envelope. And so for me, it's how to work with all these energies, how to work with what we're learning about as a holistic healing practitioner, some of the miracles that I'm seeing and assisting with, and really in all areas. And so the future human looks balanced and happy and is doing whatever their heart sings out for them to do. They're not locked into some job 40 or 50 hours a week that isn't addressing the why of their existence. So everything that we're doing, every action of ours is addressing why we're here and what we're here to do. And we're living from our hearts. I end every single presentation I do by handing out my business card to everyone with my cell phone number on it, and literally say that I'm that person you can call at 1, 2, 3, or 4 o'clock in the morning when you have no one else to turn to. I believe the whole world will look like that, and we'll be there to take care of each other and to hold each other's hands when we need to, and lead when it's appropriate, and follow when it's appropriate, and just be who we came here to be. And I look forward to it.
Wow, thank you. So, Laura, also talk about the multidimensionality, because you mentioned it, but I think there's a lot of ways of understanding what multidimensional means.
Well, I think when we tap into our unconscious self and we shed light on it, we naturally become more multidimensional when we become more familiar with it. Same thing with our reality. We become more aware of a multidimensional world that we live on, rather than the limited 3D reality that we were placed in when we were born, or that we were encouraged to adopt as a mindset. This planet's always been multidimensional, you know, and so when we say 3D reality, we're really selling ourselves short, because it's a 13-dimensional planet. It's seated with a 13-dimensional core. But our incapacity to see it is what limits us. And so when we look at what the new human is, we have to ask ourselves, well, who are we? What path are we on? What choices are we making? If we reject any part of ourselves and condemn or judge any part of ourselves, or try and take shortcuts through technology where the spiritual development isn't, you know, right in alignment with it, then the new human's going to digress, and it might end up looking like one of these beings that come back to get genetic material to save their dying race, because they can't progress past a certain point. And if you can't progress past a certain point, you end up having a different life cycle, And it has to do with technology, it has to do with time travel, and coming back to gain the things that you need to reintegrate in order to be able to stay alive. And that's the life cycle. That's why they stay locked in the time loop, and that's why they want to keep us limited to it, because we're their food. They're not just control freaks. They compromised their DNA a long time ago, and they don't really know how to break that patterning, but they do have the option, because spirit, source, God, goddess is unconditionally loving. Nobody is ever trapped indefinitely. Nobody's permanently enslaved. The other new human is based on how we're developing ourselves spiritually, and what I see is just our ability to come and go from the physical as we please. The ability to understand that we've been locked into a system where physicality and matter has held dominion. We get sick, we feel the survival connection with money. You know, if we don't have enough, we freak out. We feel powerlessness, or we have a ego that's being fed, and we're addicted to the false light. And we're really, like, limited. Now, all that's shifting and changing, and the beauty of that is when we can really move beyond those traps, we start to develop these incredible abilities again. And these abilities give us the capacity to understand that spirit holds dominion over matter, and actually miracles are natural. We get so surprised by it, like, oh, a miracle? And it's like, well, actually, that's normal. That's how it's supposed to be. We can pull things out of the air. We can have our needs met when we need them met. The universe is absolutely abundant. So it's really more about trusting our powers, our abilities, and creation, and knowing that we can work with it, and we don't need to have a lot in our bank account to have security. If we need something, we can manifest it. And if it's not in alignment with integrity, then it's probably not going to work, and that's where people become manipulative, and they start to energy vampire or steal from others or lie and deceive with facades in order to get something that they want. And so we have to decide, do we really want to be that person? And I think most of us and all of us here absolutely do not. So the future human for us, I see as absolutely free, multidimensional as far as how it looks. I think we're all going to look different based on whatever it is that we, end up becoming. But what we're capable of doing is unfreaking believable. And we want to do our best to usher these other souls into the new paradigm and inspire them to join us and to remind them of what they're truly made of, because we certainly don't want to miss out on this opportunity to expand our love and our service to all. And that's why we're all here. And, the path of digressing into gray form is really the choice to not have emotionality and to only achieve intellectual development. And, we could be, in a lot of ways it is the future human self coming back to save itself. And we have choices right now where we don't have to go down that path. And every moment is an opportunity, if you pay attention to the lessons of what your life experience is showing you, by paying attention to your relationship with yourself, your loved ones, your children, your partners, your earth. We are unstoppable, and I love that James said that, because nothing can stop this. And even if we made a choice that did take us down that road, we absolutely, with one shift of a perspective and one opening of awakening, can absolutely return home. There's unconditional love. That's what we're made of, and that's where we come from.
Thank you. Yeah, James, go ahead, pick up on that and take us home, James. No,
All right.
Take us out there.
I want to vote Laura for president. But I want to go further into this DNA that's happening. We're just getting bombarded by cosmic rays and gamma rays, and some of the scientists are saying that at one time we were getting hit with maybe 50 hits, a day, and now it's beyond 500. So we're moving into a highly energized place in space right now, and everything is changing, and the sun is reacting to that. The sun used to be kind of yellow-orange in my day. I'm kind of dating myself here, but now it's white, so the sun is going through changes, and each time the sun throws off a flare or a coronal mass ejection, it affects the bioelectric fields of our own bodies and creates changes. So the DNA that we have the DNA of the gods. I mean, there's this junk DNA is not junk, and it's getting activated. So we need to realize that when this is getting activated, the first thing that starts opening up is your telepathy. Your inner sensitivity starts opening up. And so how many people, you just know when somebody's calling you? You don't need the cell phone. You have a telepathic link going. And the more you're close to somebody, you don't even need to talk. I have friends of mine that we don't talk. If they need something, I just hand it to them. And we forget we don't need to talk anymore. It's really interesting. But another line that opens up is being able to see forward or backward in time, to see the future and see the past and make decisions from that level. One of these other lines that opens up is called the salamander gene, where we can regenerate ourselves and heal. Another line opening up is the ability to actually jump forward or backward in time, teleport, bilocate, and things like that. All these are being activated right now, and I have friends that, I myself have done it several times. We've actually teleported to other places, bilocated, and I had friends meet me there, and I thought it was a dream. Like I went to Mexico once with some of my students and hung out and had dinner, had a beer and swam in the ocean, and I came back, I was sunburned. I thought it was a dream, and then they came back to me and they said, I go, that's an awesome dream. I was in a deep meditation and came out of it, and I go, that was great. And I go, how'd I get this sunburn, And they came back to me and they said, hey, God, it was awesome seeing you in Mexico. We didn't think you could come down, and they invited me to come down. And I didn't know it happened. But we've been having it happen with vehicles, and other friends of mine have gone together and teleported places and things like that. One of the teachers I studied with, he's known for teleporting, and he zips all over the place. He'll be in China and Korea and things like that. And there's pictures of us actually disappearing. You can see pictures of us where you see right through us when we're doing these practices. And that's what we teach at the ranch. But that's what I see is I just see this new shift happening, this activation that's happening. And we can activate it ourselves by spiritually practicing certain things, that actually will start this process. A lot of the lamas and yogis, they did studies on them, and they found out more of their codons were activated than others because of their spiritual practices. Well, the whole earth is being bathed in these spiritual energies right now, so we are going to go through a huge DNA shift. Some of us are going to check out, and that's okay. I've been there. It's kind of cool. Don't worry about it. And some are going to stay, and we're going to be challenged. Health challenges, which may come in really hard. And 1 minute, I've had times where I thought I was going to die. And I go, okay, I'm good with that. Like this. The next night I wake up in the morning, I'm fine again. And it's this body adjusting to what's going on. So it's I just see that we're all going through a huge transition here. We can welcome it, and the same thing with our spiritual transition. We can go like this, or we can go like this. What are we going to do with it? And so we have to master fear and start going like this, and get rid of these old stupid images of God that we've been laid on us. This wrathful God, that was an E.T. Come on, you have this jealous, wrathful God nobody can appease, a genocidal maniac in the Old Testament, and then you got this other God that's all loving and all forgiving. I mean, is this a psychopath or what, When are we going to let go of this? I mean, come on. Are we condemned because some guy took a bite out of an apple, this is just so that the ETs are going like this. They're going, my God, So anyway, we got to let go of the past. We got to release the past and get back in touch with our own divinity, and get beyond this stuff, and just really work with these energies. Greet the sun in the morning. Do your practices. We do Qigong. We do yoga. We do a lot of different things there. Get a practice. Take time for yourself, and do your practices and tune in. Because it's happening. It's an amazing what's happening and what's available to us. But we have to initiate it. We have to open the door to have these experiences. So I want to invite everybody here to, take some time, in the morning or at night before you go to bed, and just say, I want to know. That's all you have to do is say, I want to know. I want to know who I am. I need some healing. Put it out there. Ask for it. See what happens. And the more you work with it, the more it's going to become stronger and stronger, and pretty soon you're going to start seeing miracles like Laura's talking about. So it's nothing. We have things happen on the ranch. We see bones mending spontaneously. We see tumors disappearing. We see all these amazing things happening at the ranch. And people come to me and they go, thank you so much for healing me. And I said, I didn't do anything. I go, that was between you and spirit, what happened there. And so some people come to the ranch and they're like, let me have it. And they have these amazing healings. Some people come and go like this, and that's what they get. You know, I have no control over that. You know, your divine right to free will and your choice, none of us have any control over that. So it's up to us, you know, and it's time to just embrace it. Just say, I want to know who I am and why I'm here, you know, and get on with it. Get on with your business here, you know, because we didn't come here to be zombie consumer robots, you know, and that's what the Illuminati wants you to be. So that's not who you are, so don't go there. Anyway, thank you.
Thanks. James, yeah. Michael. Yeah, Michael. Go.
I would hope that the future human being would be more connected to essence over personality. To be more connected to biography as opposed to ideology. And that, to use Dr. King's phrase, that we'd be more connected to the fact that peace is not the goal. Peace is the tool that we use to achieve our goals. That's what I would like to see.
Thank you. And Rosemary, what if there was no paranormal? What if there was just normal, you know, and that included everything we've been talking about?
It's true, the paranormal will be the normal. The future human is going to go through stages of changes, and those stages will have their own challenges to them. I mentioned earlier, and we've been talking on the panel here about the physical changes, and some of them will bring wonderful transformations, and others will pose challenges again to us. For example, on the path of yoga, there are certain powers that are acquired as you spiritualize your consciousness, and these are not considered goals of enlightenment. They're actually considered obstacles to get past on the way to enlightenment. In other words, you can't get hung up on your sudden ability to be what seems to be a superhuman. And so we'll have these stages of changes. One of the biggest changes will be that we will require ourselves to live from the heart and from honesty, because we will be more telepathic, as James was mentioning, and when we are telepathic, we will know what is in the minds and hearts of others, regardless of what they say. We will have the ability to manifest form through thought and to be able to do that very quickly. So the future reality is going to be a lot more malleable, and eventually the physical body will give way to a light body, and from there there are undoubtedly higher energy forms for consciousness to move into as well. But when individuals who don't have a well-spiritualized consciousness acquire some of these extraordinary physical powers, they can be misused, and they can even turn on the individual. So it's not going to be an easy ride, but I have every confidence that we are going to go full steam into a brilliant future, and that we will overcome the obstacles and challenges that we come up against, and that we will also be able to defeat organized manipulation of the individual soul.
Yes. Yes. I think we're coming into a flowering of humanity. I think we're expanding our ability to feel, to be empathic, to just be more sensitive with each other. And that comes down to our creativity. What we're here to do is be creative vehicles for the source. And I think, you know, once we have enough abundance and peace, then we start to put it into creative practices, into music, into dance, into poetry. And that increases our ability to feel as human beings. I mean, we're humans first, and that's what I feel the future destiny of all of us are, is to become more human and to expand through the the solar rays that are opening up more of our brain, igniting more neural nets, our ability to expand conscious, to sense each other, to come into a collective awareness and be that creative force that we are. So before we wrap up, why don't we just close our eyes for a second and just take in everything you've heard here tonight into your heart. Feel those words resonate. Feel it inside you. Pull it up to the top of your head, all those feelings, and project it out to the universe, out to the stars, out to our family. So be it. Yes. Thank you.